What's up, beautiful people? It's Quadroon up here on the mic. We got a wonderful individual with us here, Peter, aka Bears Lee, Beats Productions, etc. Yes, we're back with another SUSOST interview, stand up to stand out and stand together. This is a super special moment because this individual has contributed honestly, probably the largest to this project, aside from the self as being the primary engineer, doing a majority of the tracking, the recording, and definitely all the mixing as we embark on the mastering process. My bro, how's it going? How are you doing?
It's going so well. I'm feeling particularly blessed to be in your presence as always, my man. You bring me all that good energy. You bring me the good vibes,
The
brother.
good vibes, my
Let's make
bro.
a project.
It's a mutual feeling. It's a two-way street, no doubt. Dude, you're a man of many legends, of many techniques, of many talents. It's kind of hard to even, when I was thinking of trying to give you an intro, like describe what it is that you do. And so I figured, why me butcher it? And let me just put it to you. Peter, take us a little bit through your musical journey or how you've come to where you are, emphasizing whatever details come to most important.
For sure, man. I'd love to walk through I'll do like a mini bio of my journey, man.
Please.
And it all started. And I do this frequently, actually, when I teach classes here at the studio, and I'll always start with kind of like my journey, so I can get to know people a little bit better, and they can see that like we're all coming from like weird ass directions. But anyways,
No,
like
no.
I started out just being a real hyper kid, and my parents were like, we gotta get him like, doing stuff, or he drives me crazy. I have great folks.
Uh-huh.
They care a lot, but boy, I do not envy their plight in raising me whatsoever. A very hyper guy.
No,
Uh,
totally.
and so they put me behind a drum kit, got me some drum lessons, and drumming became a big passion of mine and led to me being in various bands. And in those bands, it's as a drummer, especially, I've personally found that it's really hard to feel as collaborative as I knew was possible, because I wasn't writing melodies, I wasn't hip to music theory or songwriting, and I was happy to just kind of go animal and ham on the drum kit, but it just wasn't, it didn't super line up. And so I was in this band kind of later in my adult life called Red Light District, and it's a
Okay.
local Santa Cruz band.
Great.
And I was also going to a lot of festivals at the time. They kicked me out of the band. I wasn't
Okay.
on their same practice schedule. I was, cared about festival life and EDM and stuff like that. And it was like my best friends. When I was in a band with my best friend,
No,
they were like,
no.
"Not you. We're getting another drummer." And I'm like, "Is that what this is about? Is it about the band, or is it about us being fucking brothers?"
Mm-hmm.
And
No,
that led me to
sure.
being like, okay, I've already been using GarageBand and a little bit of Ableton for a couple of years, just kind of goofing off.
Yeah.
To get deeper into this because I still crave the incredible high of performance. What an amazing feeling to be the vibe selector to help people dance and find catharsis and have whatever weird individual experience, a whole room of people having individual experiences like together. What an incredible honor. And I think probably the best inebriant in existence is when a performance is going well. Um,
Yeah.
and also devastating when it's not. But
Yeah, two-way street there for sure.
yeah, it's one of those things like I'll never perform again, and then you're like, no,
Oh.
wait, I live for this. It's yeah, I'm now stronger for this horrible failure. But anyways, and in making my own productions, I got real stagnant and isolated and depressed, and I was also living off of this money I made from working in the green market. So I was like not working, which is also depressing. And
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
found this amazing studio that I'm talking to you from right now. At the time, it was called In Digital. It's currently called Santa Cruz Recording here on the west side in Santa Cruz.
Yes,
And I
yes.
hit them up and I said, I need to be around musicians. I've hit a stagnancy point in my life. Please let me come clean your studio so that I can hang out with musical people so I could just not be alone with this right now. And I mean, I had friends in my life at the time, but like just not a creative network,
Yeah. Yeah.
collaboration,
Wasn't
or
that like Sangha, that satsang? Yeah. No, totally.
I was like I was pressured and compartmentalized into my own little nook of life. And they hit me back almost immediately and they said, well, yeah, you could do that, but let's do it formally. We have an internship and it starts in 2 days. Come take an interview. I interviewed the next day, got the internship, and met my mentor, this guy, Will Kreiser, who was one of the most important people in my creative life and personal
Yeah.
life. Over the period of becoming an intern and then becoming a student here under Will's tutelage and becoming best friends with Will. And then you know, he dipped and we kind of fell by the wayside, but then they hired me to teach these classes.
Sure.
And so I've been teaching classes, trained as an audio engineer here at the studio. This place has been so formative for me. The owner of the studio, Chris Cottingham, basically was just like, hey, bro, I'm going to change your life. I'm going to give you everything, and ask almost nothing in return other than just like be here and like do the good work. And like, you know, he was just my fucking angel.
Yeah.
And
No,
like,
really.
and still continues to this day to just be an absolute fucking legend and angel, who just, I don't know, has just given me everything. And, you know, every day I just want to like return that as much as I can. And so now I'm the lead engineer of the studio. I work with bands and audiobooks and talented people such as yourself. And I just have an opportunity to utilize the space for my music. And I get to work with tons of beautiful people. And that's where I'm at. And it's just I get to live my passion every day and go home and be so creatively satisfied, whether I'm working on someone else's music or mine. My line of profession is transformation. I'm taking somebody's hopes and dreams and momentum and care and concern and heartache and everything in between. A lot of times it's projects they've been sitting on for sometimes decades. And then I transform that and help to transform that into a product, into something tangible, into something shareable and downloadable. And I'm just incredibly humbled by my path leading me to be an agent of transformation, because that's just what I'm spiritually called to do. And people like Will and Chris and also myself have just like pushed me to be somewhere like really special. I have the best job in the fucking world. So that's my whole
That's my life. Yeah. No, bro, it's so beautiful to I always love hearing you A, monologue in general, B, talk about yourself, because you're very humble and it always sounds so natural, you know, and knowing that there's just infinite experiences, full emotions, the spectrum within that, you know, but it's told from that place of recognition. Now, there seemed like a theme in that when I was listening to you that I kind of want to follow up on. And, you know, you mentioned coming to drums, you mentioned being in a band, and like a certain element in you which was being fulfilled at the time, and a certain level of like existential dissatisfaction of some sorts, which then, whether or not it be the engineer, you know, space itself, or position, or the recording studio, you know, Santa Cruz they're working, or the people there, like, tell me about how then that gap has become filled in a way, and how it came from, you know, still orienting and navigating and loving the performing space. You know, you do DJ work, you still do, you know, hold that space within live instrumentation as well. I've seen this full rip on the drums with the guns, don't get me wrong. And yet, as you're speaking and coming to find the love within your current position, there also seems to be a new element in working with the music and making the manifestation of the dream that you've felt more comfortable in. So I'm curious to hear about that as well.
Yeah, like it's something I tell people when they come here, whether it's for classes or to help get an album or to get like production feedback or mixing feedback. And one thing I always like to like clarify with them is I believe firmly that professional products and projects require a team, and that they have just made the effort often to build their team. And I'm the first member of their team. I'm their first advocate. I'm their first, in some cases, expert or just helpful friend. I'm their first, like, technically minded person who can help to level them up or what have you. And I've also found that myself with people like Will and like Chris and with a lot of local artists here. Like I found my own team effort and like true collaboration, which was something I was like always after, but also get to be the big dog on campus with my own productions where I can have people sing on my tracks. I'm still have last edit, I still have, I'm the director, I'm the producer, I'm the man when it comes to my own projects.
Right.
It's always good to set those boundaries in advance, but setting those boundaries in advance. But like one of the coolest things is if I don't feel like making my own music or hustling or anything like that, I can help people make their stuff and still get that same level of satisfaction, if not sometimes more, which is incredible.
That's really cool, dude.
Yeah, and also I uncovered at some point that if I just go somewhere and play other people's music, that's also really fucking fun and a lot more accessible than practicing with a band however fucking often and being like, oh, the bassist isn't coming again. It's just like that. So like DJing has been a really beneficial part of my experience, and over time I've had the opportunity to play all original sets of my own productions, and so it's a good balance of like I'm playing other people's stuff, my stuff, but I'm facilitating experience for a dance floor or for an audience, and I still get that beautiful feeling of sharing in something communal.
No, that's cool. Kind of reorienting the dependency structures between, and it definitely, when you put yourself in that position with the wisdom and the know-how, you're able to be not only a free agent of sorts, but also like the welcomer and the introduction for so many other free agents or artists. So it's really cool to see that two-way street there. Something that I definitely wanted to touch upon, and this interconnects to our storylines in the stew. I wanted to have you tell the story of how we met, because it's definitely a hilarious situation. I feel like kind of captures your character in a way as well.
Yeah, so we have an official meeting, which I think is such an amazing thing.
Right.
I do feel like there was a time, because you had actually been working at the studio with another engineer, Logan Gritton, or his moniker is Low Grit.
Low Grit.
Very incredibly talented engineer and producer and a great dude.
Yeah.
Who I haven't seen in forever. He's living that dad life pretty hard, but yeah. So you'd been working at the studio, and I feel like maybe we had just like crossed paths in the sense of me as an intern being like, "Can I get you some coffee?" or something along those lines. But there's never like a. It was always like if we had come across each other, which I vaguely have a memory of.
Right. Yeah, I kind of feel you.
We're in a session, and I knew better than to like interrupt the creative flow. So, but our first meeting is the studio partnered with the local college radio station KZSC for UC Santa Cruz, and we were doing this radio show called Morning Brew. Early brew?
Local brew.
Big ups to my local brew fams.
Cold brew.
I don't think any of them are actually doing. Yeah, the cold brew crew. I don't think any of them are actually doing that program anymore. But basically, they just wanted to have local bands on, interview them, let them play for 2 hours, and that was it. It was amazing. So we hosted it from the studio for I think 2 years. And this was actually like something I volunteered to do. This was not a like paid position. This was something that I did, was optional for me to do. And I was like, yes, please let me do that. It'll help me be a better engineer. give me some live experience because I wanted to branch out into doing live sound. And this was like a very safe kind of middle ground for me to practice that.
Yeah.
To meet a bunch of bands and just like kind of just get some much needed experience. And I knew that was really crucial for me. So I signed on to this and gave up my Sunday mornings to be able to have local bands come in, and it was going great. And you know, sometimes I'd like to party the night before, and this was like a 10 a.m. call time or something like that, maybe 9. And so it kind of depended. So I would always reach out in advance, get the production details from everybody, and in advance, and then kind of plan how early I needed to be, and maybe set up the night before, whatever, with my co-engineer at the time, this guy Troy, I think it's Nadu is how he pronounces it. Troy Boy from Lonely Island Productions. I'm pretty sure that's his production company anyways. So I get the message that this artist Quadroon's coming in, and he's just going to need backing tracks for his performance. And I'm like, oh, great. Okay. I know I'm going to be hungover tomorrow. We're ready I'll launch some backing tracks. We'll set up a mic. We'll even make it, we'll set up like a backdrop and make it comfy. We've had a couple like rappers and independent artists on here before where it was like super simple. Me and Troy will just like eat sandwiches in the control room and kick it because we got an easy day. We're not even going to show up early or anything. And then I show up that morning and I believe, an army of fucking people and yourself. And I have to say, like, in that moment, first of all, I got to just be real. I am such a douchebag in the mornings before I've eaten and had coffee. I am.
We all are. We all are.
I think I'm worse. I think I'm actually a piece of shit before.
You have a literal like ontological transformation post caffeine and first breakfast.
I am like a sweet, gentle, chill. That's my thing. That's what I want to be. That's how I like to hold myself. But boy, before 11 a.m., I am just, this is when I get in my car to go get some food, and I'm like road raging all over the fucking place. I like to
cut the road, dude.
I ask my friends not to take anything I say seriously before noon. But anyway, so I was just like, oh, this is going to be like a ton of different instruments and like a whole production. And I have to be honest, like I was pretty pissed at that time, and not at anyone other than whoever informed me of this thing.
Right.
It was whatever producer from the program, and they, I don't think, knew or cared or whatever. And so we were like setting up stuff, and me and Troy were both like commiserating and sharing in our misery. And then maybe 20 minutes before airtime, because I think we had like 2 hours to set up, which is pretty good for a set up a sound check. It's still a rush, but I think you had like a 9-piece situation or something.
It was literally, bro, we had a violinist in the fucking isolated booth. We had a vibraphone. We had guitar.
It's the vibraphones that showed up 20 minutes before airtime.
And then he rolls up last because he's coming through from Davis. Hey guys,
and like I didn't know it was coming, and I was just like, it wasn't even like piss is the wrong word. I was like angry at God.
No, it's deeper than that. It's like exactly.
How dare the fates deem me? Like I was like feeling sorry for myself, and so I just like took a moment and like ate a bite of something and set up some pencil mics for the Vibra, which like I would have loved like a half hour to dial in that instrument. It's like such a specifically beautiful thing, and I was just like, oh, I just wish I had all the time in the world. And then we get everything relatively done in time. I think we might have had a sound check. At least we got line checks on everything. And then y'all started playing, and we went live on air, and it was the best sounding thing I've like ever worked on. And it was just this incredible high of like, I helped do this. I, even in my grumpiest and dumbest of brains, set up something really fucking special. And I was just so proud of what me and Troy had accomplished in this circumstance. And just to like, also there's this feeling of like, to like help get this sound, these talented people sharing this sound, get that out onto the airwaves was like such an honor for me that it overcame anything that I was feeling other than just like, wow, I am meant to be here. And how humbling is that, that like my brain was just telling me like, fuck this, when really this is what I want to do forever. And it was something that really cemented my love of this profession and let me know that I was going on the right course. So it was this, and I also felt horribly embarrassed for being a dick. I don't know if my dickishness like came
That
through.
didn't, it's so funny you speak of it. I never knew your total psychic emotional state during this time. But no, while this is happening, your boy is fucking running around and just getting all the shit set up. Yeah, with never that vibe. It was like impressive because me coming to the studio, I had never spoke with you. I never spoke with the studio. Even though I had been there, I knew it wasn't Logan. So I knew like, okay, my boy, and not knowing what the back end communication was, assuming it was all swell and good. And then to hear that story on the other side is just like, oh man, how legendary and incredible. And such a kudos to then the talent where instantly from that session, I remember, and it was kind of when Logan was, I think having his first or second baby. And so, it's taking some time away. It's like, oh, I want to work with this fool, and never looked back from there. I remember we set up a session pretty soon after, and it was just like instant fucking clickage. And, from there, truly manifested this project. I think we worked on the Chi IQ, was the first joint that we did, but tracks had already been recorded for Suso. And from there, we've worked on a variety of different stuff in and out, bro. But it's been nothing but absolute love and infinite joy. But Peter, back to yourself, and coming to kind of a circling of this. I wanted to ask to you. We're looking at the past here. Let's take a look at the present. Look at the future. Just let the people know, what are you doing? What are you working on right now? Things you would like to share, people, places, projects, productions, engineer work, etc. And where are you going, Peter? What's the future lie in store of you? Do you have direction, or how do you navigate that? And where do you go from thinking about that versus just letting the flow occur?
This is a great question, and I'll start with the second half first, which is, where am I heading?
Yeah.
I am in this really blessed place where, although the exact incarnation of this profession and this career, I'm not at the like final stage or anything like that. I'm not going to retire anytime soon or anything like that. I have a long ways to go, and I'm learning and getting humbled constantly. I'm in I love the place where I'm at in life because I'm just getting humbled. Like, I know I have so far to go, but I know I'm also in the right place. And so really my goal is just to keep making connections with people who I like resonate with artistically, and just keep getting on projects and making productions. And like, I mean, the end goal is to make hits, at least within the like, honestly, in any context, just anything that gets the word out, get involved in big projects, just
clappers. No, straight up.
I'm open to any type of like making soundtracks, composing. I've been doing some production management for some bigger gigs. I did this giant after party with Quadraphonic Function Sound for Euphonic, this production company out of Hawaii with Dave Sheldon. And we got the Coconut Grove, which is a super epic venue here in Santa Cruz, with like the most ridiculous sound system, and 2 nights in a row, bands and DJs. And like, I was the production manager for it. And I'm like, wait, I fucking love production managing. It's a super good feeling. It wasn't really pulling on any of my like musical skills, but like, I don't know, like I'd love to do more of that. I just made some recent connections with people with upcoming venues that are opening in San Francisco that want me to potentially start planning out some shows and production managing. So on that end, like, I just kind of want to do anything and everything and make connections and help this world to have as much of the shit that gets me off, this music that makes me feel at home, and as close to spirit as possible. It's, you know, I want to help facilitate that while also, you know, supporting my own existence financially. So, but then musically, I have my first EP is coming out in mid-October. I just need to finish the masters on it, and it's going to distro for several week process of approval, and then at some point that's coming out. I don't know when this is coming out, but you can go to bearsly.com, bearsly.com, and see, you know, my recent stuff that's coming out, links to all my shit, but also either you will find a sneak preview of the album, which in its slightly unmastered state, the rough masters, or by the time this comes out, the full thing might be ready. Either way, it's all at bearsly.com. It's freely available. You know, it's on Bandcamp, so it's donation only. It'll be on, once it's released, it'll be on Spotify and everything else, of course. But so yeah, check out that for those projects. Also I'm working on my first solo EP, which is actually all with collaborators. Every song has collaborators on it, but that one will be, the first album's with me and my friend Barbora Luka on every song. The next album will be a collection of different collaborators. I just have more fun making music with my friends. So, and actually, you're going to be on my first EP, my dude. You're featured on the last track on that EP. You close out the EP in the most epic of fashions, and it's almost like a secret track on the end of it. Like the main track fades into this. It's honestly my favorite part of the whole album. That song in general, I love Barbora's part on it, and then you come in, like people are like, "Oh, okay, that was a sick EP," and then you come in and just like seal the fucking deal, dude. So sick.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, so I got those 2 EPs in the works, and then I got some other projects with yourself. We might have some heaters in the works, my people.
Dude. Bangers, hangers, heaters, and get out your cedars.
I mean, to be honest, I don't know if I'm allowed to even say this, but I think we're working on a full length, my dude.
Oh, we are, and we have, and we subtly like recorded demos to it like almost now a year ago that are still just absolutely absurd. Like they stand the test of time. I'm still like, oh my God, Peter, we need to work on these songs because they're that good.
I know. Suso is like at the core of our drive right now, and I know when I work on those, there's like 2 or 3 more beats I haven't even shown you yet that I would love to get you on. There's that new track we made semi-recently when you came into town.
That's crazy.
Which I'm super.
That's a wild style, yeah.
But like right now, the like energy process is I'm finishing that first EP with Barbora.
Right.
I am finishing Suso. Once those are like shared to the world, like we're moving on to all sorts of fun other stuff. We're just keeping it going, dude.
Yeah. No, but really excited to collaborate with you on a more personal production standpoint because we're gonna.
It's incredible. It's gonna be like this album. Just every time I listen to those tracks, I get just chills, and I'm just like, I can't wait to share this with the world, man.
Yeah, oh, straight up, my dude. Yeah, we may have to do like a little IG live sneak peek or some shit of that, you know, because they're so good. Like they do have to get a little peek out into the world before they go back into the sauce and the recreation. But no,
we're filming videos for those.
Huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. Your thing crackled out, so I realized we were both talking at the same time. But I just want to say,
yes,
we're filming videos for those. We're renting. I got access to a 6K camera, which I don't really know how to use, but
we'll figure it out.
It's great. It's like so high tech. I don't know, but hey, I've learned crazier things than that, and I will continue learning weird technologies. If I can like learn halfway how to use After Effects, I think I could do anything.
No, exactly. And to my perspective, if you can navigate Ableton, you can do anything on a computer. Really.
Ableton is bae.
And you have literally taught that. So come on now. I just wanted to say, in addition, you're giving the shouts, and I want to give the shouts to yourself and Stu, and the fact that you can go, is it SantaCruzRecording.com?
SantaCruzRecording.com. Yeah, that's where you can contact us. You can also, my professional email is Pete, P-E-T-E, at SantaCruzRecording.com, but you can also message me through the website. That's where you can check out our rates for recording, rates for private lessons. We're doing like full classes with people. I'm the instructor here as well. Audio engineering and beat production, mixing, mastering, video editing, that kind of stuff. But since COVID, it's just like us packing a bunch of people into a room hasn't exactly sounded as beneficial as me just continuing private lessons with people. So we've been doing that. We may at some point launch the full classes again. That's the goal. But not if people are still wearing masks. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it feels like it just, no, for sure. I mean, yeah, but no, shouts to the studio, to the spot. If you guys are ever in Santa Cruz itself and /Shore, obviously in the world of post-Cove and modern electricity, we can do a lot of remote work. I mean, this dude is one of the coolest persons, and it's underrated how much that actually translates aside from all the world of technique and talent you have on the engineering side. Just being a good, genuine, as you described very perfectly, gentle, and big person. Like the energy in the space is filled with a love, and it's also filled with a non-judgmental awareness, which, dude, I fucking love working with you and getting in that space. And definitely think you have a unique talent in that regard, which translates so well into, the thing which brings you joy, which is like being that medium of manifestation for others' transformations in the role of engineer. But
thanks so much. That's incredibly sweet, kind words. And I'm so glad that you and I can resonate on this like spiritual calling to humor the muses and to humor this thing that's like built inside of us that we need to express and share, and also foster that for other people, and like keep the cycle going, and like be creative in a generational context. I think is something we're both spiritually inclined, and one reason why we connect so much. Of course, there's like, we share a lot of the same like humor and an enjoyment of life, but I think it really boils down to this like spiritual call that we share. And I appreciate you, and I appreciate the reflection of myself in you. And man.
Amen. Be women. Y'all got it right here live. Bears, Beats, and Battlestar Galactica coming to you live. As you guys said, the interviews. Here we go. Quadroon, Bears, we out.
Much love.